What is going on, everyone? It's Super here, and I'm bringing you guys another Injustice 2 video, and today we're going to be doing a top 5 list, and it's been a while since I've actually done these. For reasons I have no idea, because there's so many top 5s that I could actually do for Injustice 2. The last one that I did went down pretty well, was talking about my top 5 guest DLC characters. That'll probably be linked in the description if you guys want to go check that out. But if you guys do enjoy these and want me to do some more top 5s, make sure you guys leave a like rating on the video. It really helps out. So let's get started here. By the title, you guys probably know what top 5 I'm going to be talking about. And just to give you guys some backstory, I guess, or perspective on why I'm doing this specific top 5 before Injustice 2 is even out, let me just say and reiterate that we are 100% going to have at least one Mortal Kombat character, because Ed Boon has been asked a lot about Mortal Kombat characters making a return in Injustice based off of Scorpion being in the first Injustice, and he hasn't confirmed anything, but he's been answering the same every single time he gets asked. He always says Scorpion was our #1 most downloaded DLC character for Injustice, so I would be surprised if we wouldn't do something like that. So that pretty much tells me he hasn't changed his answer since E3 of last year. We're gonna get a Mortal Kombat character, so here we go. I'm here to give you guys my top 5 Mortal Kombat guest characters for Injustice 2. This one is not really a list of my favorite guest characters. This is more of a list of a realistically what top 5 characters I think would realistically make it into Injustice 2. It's not my top 5 favorite, because that would be a completely different list. There would be a lot of these characters would not even make it. So if you guys would like me to make like my personal top 5, the ones that I would like to see in Injustice but probably won't happen, leave it in the comment section. But here we go. The #1 is the most obvious one, and the one that I think will end up being in Injustice 2. And there's a lot that could be done with Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero is pretty much the opposite of Scorpion. He's like the counterpart to Scorpion. Scorpion was in the first Injustice game. It would make a lot of sense for Sub-Zero to get some love in Injustice 2. And Ed Boon has teased Sub-Zero before. I really think it's a home run character, to be honest with you guys, because he and Scorpion, by he I mean Sub-Zero and Scorpion, are fan favorite characters. So people who might not really enjoy the DC fighting game, they might see a name like Sub-Zero as a guest character in Injustice 2, and they might buy the game just to play Sub-Zero because it's their favorite Mortal Kombat character. Same thing with Scorpion. So I think Sub-Zero is a home run for them. I think it's a given that he's going to make it. They could do a lot of interesting things. I think his trade is probably going to be the Ice Clone, because Ice Clone is just one of the best moves. I think one of the best moves in Mortal Kombat history. It's had a lot of variations. In Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, in MK9. You could actually call the Ice Clone, and depending on how your character moved at the time, like if he was rolling back, the Ice Clone would take that shape. In Mortal Kombat X is a little bit more straightforward. You just call the Ice Clone, and it's just a standing Ice Clone. So if they take like a variation of many different Mortal Kombat games Ice Clones and they put into the trait, that's going to be really cool. So I do think the trait is going to be the Ice Clone. Moving on here, #2. These are in no particular order, by the way. It's just, the characters that I listed on my list. It's just that order. Next up at #2 is Raiden. Now, the game isn't out. The roster isn't out. I don't know how many, electricity-based characters we're going to have in Injustice 2. Of course, Shazam was in the first Injustice, and he was the only one. But Shazam's playstyle in Injustice was more of a grappler character. So he did have his, projectiles, his lightning bolt projectiles, but he was more of a grappling character. So Raiden would definitely fill that slot of a character with many electricity moves. Of course, he could have his teleport, something like what Ares had in the first Injustice game. I think, you know, they took inspiration for Ares from the MK9 teleporter, just the teleport in general that Raiden's had. So that could be just a special move. I don't think that's going to be a trait because I think that would maybe put a little bit more creativity into his trait. I don't know what it would be, but I do think Raiden has a huge chance to make it. He's another one of those big names in Mortal Kombat, and you guys will probably recognize a lot of these characters came from, you know, just the very first Mortal Kombat game, pretty much original characters, because I think these are the most iconic characters, and these are the ones that they would bring over to a game like Injustice. So moving on, number 3 would be Johnny Cage. Now Johnny Cage is an interesting one because Johnny Cage is just a man. He's just a man, and he does have special powers. Of course, he has the you know, the glow aura that powers him up and stuff. But compared to all these superheroes, it would be really funny for his intro dialogues with a character like Atrocitus, you know, that is trying to recruit people to the Red Lantern Corps that have rage in them and is incredibly strong. It would be very interesting to see the dialogues between those characters, man. So Johnny Cage, just based off of his interactions with these characters, would make such an amazing crossover DLC character for Injustice 2. I really hope that he ends up making it. I would actually take Johnny Cage over every character on this list except for Sub-Zero, because I think Sub-Zero would have a really cool playstyle. I've always liked Sub-Zero's playstyle in Mortal Kombat games. So Johnny Cage, though, I would take over anyone on this list except for Sub-Zero because of the intro dialogues that he would have with the characters. And of course, you know, Johnny Cage has a lot to work with, just based on the, you know, Mortal Kombat X playstyles. They could just take those 3 variations and put it into one character. Obviously tone it down a little bit, because imagine Johnny Cage having the old A-list cancels, having the mimic ability for stun double, and having the fisticuffs back 1. That would be a ridiculous character, but he would be a lot of fun. So if they somehow make the MKX version of Johnny Cage in Injustice 2 with all 3 variations mixed into one character, that would be you know, really fun. So moving on here, this is I'm kind of cheating a little bit, but I think these 2 female characters are not interchangeable because, well, maybe in Injustice, right? Like, that's why I have them together, because the way the gear system works, you could actually get new abilities, change the color of your abilities, and just get different attacks. So of course I'm talking about Kitana and Mileena. So one of these female characters would have a really good chance to make it. I think one other female character would actually make it over these 2, which is my next pick, but I think having you know, Kitana or Mileena be playable would be very, very fun, because of course you guys know, if you followed my channel, I love the princess. She is my favorite female character in Mortal Kombat history. Kitana's always been number 1, and with the ultra realistic graphics of Injustice 2, how good will Kitana look? It's been very hard for NetherRealm to come up with like a beautiful face for the princess. They haven't really you know, done justice to Kitana. So I think she would look great in Injustice 2. And imagine how like creepy and awesome Mileena would look, because her teeth would be all out. Well, depending if she had a mask on or if she didn't. In my opinion, it would be cool if like her base character wouldn't have a mask on. It's just more intimidating. But I think Kitana and Mileena could be definitely palette swap interchangeable characters depending on what gear you're using, maybe, and you get size instead of fans, or vice versa. I think that's something that could happen. The same thing with like Sub-Zero and the rest of the ninjas. It's gonna be a little bit hard to, you know, palette swap correctly for characters like Sub-Zero. If he does make it, it would be really hard to have, like, for example, an Ermac, because Ermac has the lifts. He has levitating properties. He could teleport, you know, so it would be really hard to do palette swaps with those characters. But I think Kitana Mileena, other than like the ball roll, I think they're pretty interchangeable as far as like their zoning, their gameplay for Injustice 2. And depending on what they make Kitana or Mileena's trait, you know, it could be very interesting. So moving on here to the fifth and final character. So this is, in my opinion, the most likely character, the most likely female character to make it. I don't know if you guys are going to agree or not, but that's what the comment section is for. Let me know which female character you guys think would have the most chance of making it. And in my opinion, I think Sonya would have the best chance to make it as a female guest DLC character in Injustice 2. The reason being, she is as original as they come. She was in the very first Mortal Kombat game. She's very strong as far as you know, her attitude, and she could hold her own versus anybody with that attitude, and she has a lot to work with. Just for example, just even in Mortal Kombat X with her 3 unique variations, she could bring like a 50-50 type character. They could even make her like Kombat Sonya and have like 50-50 combo starters, like her overhead, like her low in Mortal Kombat X. They could also have Sonya have like gadgets, military gadgets, as her traits, and they could definitely do a lot with Sonya. And of course, she's been around forever, so there would be no shortage of creative gear that they could have for that character. So in my opinion, I think Sonya has the best chance out of all the female characters to make it into Injustice 2 as a DLC character coming from Mortal Kombat. So that's gonna be the end of today's video. That is my list, my top 5 most likely characters to make it into Injustice 2: Sub-Zero, Raiden, Johnny Cage, Kitana or Mileena, and Sonya. Let me know what you guys think of my list. I might do another video talking about characters that I personally would like to see, but that's up to you guys. Let me know what you guys think about my list. Leave your list down in the comment section, and I will see you guys next time. What's going on, guys? It's Super here. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you guys subscribe or check out any of these videos linked at the top. Thank you, and I'll see you guys next time.